Coach. Fort right away with their no huddle. It just seemed to kind of catch you guys off guard.
Yeah, and good luck duplicating that in practice. And we told them that we can't show you in practice what these guys are going to do to you. And the game was going to be so much faster than we can tell you, and it was. And our kids were, they were outgunned right away. Physically up front, the first half we lost both sides of the ball, and then the team speed that they have is just. It's as good as most people that they're going to see all year long. And so, they caught us off guard. We knew that was going to happen, but, we had hoped that we could step up to the challenge a little bit better. But they played good football. We had a lot of respect for these guys.
Between Cortier running and Nodiger catching, just what was that like, and how did you guys even try to defend that?
Well, a guy that's name wasn't even spoken tonight was Shiloh Weber, number 85, and he's maybe their best receiver. He didn't have a single touch because we used Alex Berenclaw to shut him down tonight. And by Alex just being out there, they never even threw in Shiloh's direction once. And so there's another offensive weapon that we never even saw accounted for today because they weren't able to use them. But, Fort has a lot of weapons. And their quarterback did a nice job, but then he gets hurt second series, and then they had to rotate some guys through that quarterback spot. But all of them came in and played good football. So they're just a well-coached team. The program's got it going on over here. They've really been on the up in the last few years, and a lot of credit to them. They've done a great job.
Yeah, they bring in their backup, their kid that played JV last night,
and
it looked like he had been playing varsity for a year or two.
Yep, and I told him, I was talking to their head coach in pregame, and I said, boy, your JV quarterback, junior kid, he looked nice last night. I watched him play the whole game. He did a nice job managing the game, and if you have to use him, he'd be just fine. Well, wouldn't you know it, second series, here he is, and he was, I think he was a little nervous right away, you could tell. But once he had it figured out, he did a really nice job. And I don't know how long their injury is to their quarterback. I hope for the best for that kid. But if their backup has to play, he'll be just fine.
21-0 at the end of the first half. What did you say to the guys going into the locker room?
Well, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. It was, I told them that how disappointed I was and how much more I believe in them than 21-0 at half. And I said I've been talking you guys up like we belong in this ball game and that we can play with these guys, and I don't want you to make me a liar. And they responded. They came out and played a good second half. It's just too bad that it had to be the second half when we were down 21-0. Otherwise, we might have a different outcome tonight.
Well, and it even took them a full series on both sides of the ball to stop them, because the offense went 3 and out to start that second half, and then the defense allowed that quick touchdown, and you guys were down now 4 touchdowns.
Right, and it would have been real easy for a lot of teams just to fold and say, we're done. But we came back, and Alex and Charlie made some really nice plays. It was, I don't want to say that it was nice that we were forced to have to get them going, but one thing that we learned tonight is that those two have a connection, and we'll be able to utilize them more frequently early in the game as a weapon versus late when we have to.
After the way you guys handled Sauk and then came in here and were handled in that first half, you fought back hard in the second half. Does that give the kids a new sense of urgency and how they have to bring the intensity every game?
Well, maybe, and we talked about we're beyond the point of being happy about a moral victory. 14-7, we beat them in the second half. That's not what we're looking for. And I told them at halftime, I don't want to go home and say, oh, I'm really proud of your second half play. Let's let that carry over. We want the wins and we want the W's, and we were disappointed that we weren't able to get one tonight. But we did learn some things about ourselves in the second half, and we can be happy about some of the good plays that were made, but yet it's not a moral victory by any means. It's not going away with a smile on our face because maybe if we would have played that way, the maybes are gone. So we just hope that we can learn from what we did in the second half and build off of that and carry it on to Edgewood, because it doesn't take much to get riled up to play Edgewood. These kids will be ready to go, and hopefully we can have 2 great halves of football.
Something you don't usually see in high school football, let alone a game between Monroe and Fort Atkinson, is all those 15-yard penalties. A lot of late hits, a lot of personal fouls. Things just seemed weird. Was there any real difference in emotion, or just things just kind of fall differently?
Well, I think on both sides of the ball, both of our teams believe that we're good, and Fort Atkinson got up on us, and then we started coming back, and it really frustrated them. And when kids get frustrated, they start getting a little bit out of the context of, maybe doing what's right, or getting some 15-yard penalties. And our kids were frustrated because we were down and we didn't feel like we should be down, and so that's. But when you put two teams together, that's a competitive football game and it's going all the way to the end. Sometimes, you just get a little fired up. But, what I saw wasn't dirty by any means. It was just kids playing hard on both sides of the ball, maybe taking it just a little too far, but yet we expect, this is football, we expect a good physical game, and sometimes things get a little carried away. But, I don't have any loss of respect for our kids or theirs. It's what happens in a game of football sometimes.
And you touched on Madison Edgewood a little bit earlier and how it doesn't take much to get ready for them, at least emotionally. Just what are you guys going to have to do to try to counter what they bring to the field?
Well, they're I don't want to say in a rebuilding phase by any means, because their Edgewood team and Al Minard coaches them up, and he will turn an average product into a very good one all the time. And I don't know if they have an average product or a good product to start. I know they have a lot of replacing to do, but they were close with the Forest last week. I think it was tied at halftime 0-0. I don't know what the outcome of tonight's game was, but there's no question that they'll put a good team in the field. But it's an important game for us. It's Edgewood. It's a game where we feel like we belong on the W column, and but it's going to take good football to do it, and it's going to take taking care of the football, not turning the ball over, which we didn't have any tonight, fortunately. But we're going to have to win the battle up front, and that's something that we didn't do early, and that that cost us a little bit.
Okay.